Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson, the Morning Report, a production of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTV.com. We are thrilled that you are with us. This glorious, fantastic Thursday afternoon. It is 6:15, 2023, in the year of our Lord. It's already halfway through June. Wow. A lot of people are saying that time is moving faster. I'm not a proponent of that. I'm a proponent of that our lives are so busy and we are being inundated by so many things that we're not catching up. It's us that are behind. Time is like a good drummer. It's just at 60 beats a minute, doesn't move, doesn't care what's going on around it. It's just 60 beats a minute. And as we are half step marching into the future. I'm glad you're here with me today, though. You like that? This is Kevin McCarthy. That is the Fiscal Responsibility Act. This is government spending. Not going to talk about that today, but I want you to get this picture in your brain. When people start talking about it, when you hear it's the biggest tax cut in American history. Really? Anyway, I want you to get that in your brain. Yesterday, 20 Republicans voted against a resolution to censure and fine Democrat Adam Schiff. Now, we know that Adam Schiff has been part of the Schiff show and is a known serial liar and basically a national security threat. He abused his position as a former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee to pursue a bogus witch hunt against Russian collusion, which we found out what? What do we find out, kids? There was no collusion. There wasn't enough reason to even start an investigation, let alone there being collusion, right? So Representative Anna Paulina Luna from my neck of the woods tweeted, and she was upset because she put this resolution together. 20 Republicans voted with the Democrats to stop the ethics investigation, censure, and fine of Adam Schiff. So there is no confusion, as some did not accurately read the bill. I will be filing a privileged motion to censure and send Schiff to ethics for an investigation. See you next week, Adam. She was kind of PO'd. But at least one Republican Congressman Thomas Massie explained why he voted against the measure. Massie argues this is important. This is really important. If we're going to be conservative, if we're going to be Republican, if we're going to be American, if we're going to be patriots, then we have to stay within our reason. We can't start acting emotionally and this tit for tat kind of thing. We should impeach Biden. He impeached Trump. So what we were afraid of is actually happening. Some of us thinking people were afraid of is actually happening. This whole idea, well, if you impeach me, we'll impeach you. And now we spend all this time, energy, and effort in impeachment hearings. So impeachment, which was supposed to be this really very serious thing for very serious crimes, is now being used as, we'll just screw you up and screw up your agenda and screw up the country and keep people divided and PO'd by impeaching the person. We'll bring up on charges. Everybody, all the time? Probably not the best thing, right? Probably not the best thing for the government. Probably not the best thing for the nation. But anyway, Massey argues that the resolution was too broad. He also argues that it was unconstitutional and would give Democrats a weaponized tool. Again, just what I talked about, when they inevitably regain a congressional majority in the future, because that's what happens. Republicans run the House, run the House for a while, the Democrats run the House for a while, and Republicans run the House for a while. That's why those of us who are thinking people go, yeah, you're all responsible for this. This is a unit error. You're all responsible for this. This is why no president in a bunch of years has been the president over the nation's federal government getting smaller and less intrusive. It's always gotten larger and more intrusive because it's what that thing does, regardless of the letter after the name, whether it's a D or an R, which is why a lot of people call it the uniparty. They all do the same thing. The difference is this, is that if my guy's an R and your guy's a D, my guy's always good and your guy's always bad. And in the reverse, if your guy has a D after his name and my guy has an R, then your guy is good and my guy is bad, even if they do and say the same thing. This is what we have to watch out for. The problem with that, Massey said that it's a $16 million fine. Thomas Massey tweeted this: if a simple majority of the House can lay claim to $16 million from another member of Congress, our republic is doomed if Democrats ever get the majority back. Glad to see the author of the censure resolution is removing this provision from the resolution and going to try it again. Now, for you and I, censure means nothing. All censure is a strong reprimand. Now, back when people were honest and honorable, to be censured was shameful. But we know shame is dead. Shame is dead. And the 60s killed it. Thomas Massey also tweeted this, allowing them, allowing a majority of Congress to take $16 million, 92 years of pay from any Congress member is short-sighted. Can we not imagine a time when this president would be used against conservatives? Fortunately, it failed. I am told a constitutional version will be offered now. Cool. Because this is what happened before. Massey also tweeted this: Adam Schiff acted unethically, but if a resolution to fine him $16 million comes to the floor, I will vote against it. In fact, I'm still litigating a federal lawsuit against Nancy Pelosi over a salary reduction she imposed on me, Thomas Massey, for my refusal to wear a mask. She imposed a salary reduction on a member of Congress because he would not wear a mask, to intimidate him, to force him to do something that they wanted him to do. He also tweeted, the Constitution says the House may make its own rules, but we can't violate other, later, provisions of the Constitution. A $16 million fine is a violation of both the 27th and 8th Amendments. Democrats levied what they called fines on members of Congress who didn't wear a mask. Do you believe that was constitutional? I do not. Do you believe that was constitutional? That Democrats levied what they called fines on members of Congress that decided not to wear a mask. They fined them, took money out of their pay. Now, I know that there are people out there, DC Drano, who is, I think DC is from my neck of the woods too, disagrees with Thomas Massey. I tend to agree with Thomas Massey. Now, this is where thinking people have to think. I think Adam Schiff is a dirtbag and is a traitor and should be locked up. But we have to do it correctly. We can't do it emotionally. You know, when I first learned, I was first learning how to teach in the public school system But I did learn that I had to be sort of schizophrenic when I was doling out punishments. I was doling out corrections, but I had to do it in a way that, first of all, it couldn't come back on me, and second, in a way that it was consistent and unemotional. Now, the behavior of Adam Schiff has been reprehensible, reprehensible. But we can't act emotionally here. If censure is the most we can do, then he should be censored. He should be brought before the ethics committee and very calmly put on a rotisserie and just just baste him and roast him, definitely. But let's not decide that we're going to start playing this tit for tat nonsense. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, sorry, I always mess that up. I'm sorry, Congresswoman, introduced the resolution to censure Schiff and reportedly rewriting it for another vote. That's good. Massey said, "Thank you for removing the part that several of us, 20, thought unwise or unconstitutional. Many of us are looking forward to voting for your better version." Polina Luna tweeted back, "With all due respect, you're making misrepresentations about the bill. This is not your case with Pelosi. For those wondering, this gets into parliamentary language." Okay. Now, some readers added some context. The thing about Twitter now is interesting because people can add context. The text of House Resolution 489, which is what we're talking about, includes this: if it is determined by an investigation conducted by the Committee of Ethics that Representative Schiff lied, made misrepresentation, and abused system information, he should be fined in the amount of $16 million. Now, if he did these things, he should be run out of Congress for sure. If he did these things, he should be run out of Congress, which I think is okay. There you are. What do you guys think? Write it in the comments. Write it in the comments. Okay, before we go to the next story, I want to talk about. I on here on YouTube, I wrote a something in the community. Are you a person that when you find something that you subscribe to, um, this this little channel, and this is a little channel. This is a little channel that could. When you find that channel that you know what, that you don't mind. I'm not even saying you like, but you don't mind, and that you check on every now and again, because I think that's what we are. This is not something that we people tune in. You know what? Every day. I wonder what Willie's going to say today. I don't believe that. Because if that were true, I would see it in the analytics, and I don't see it in the analytics. Do you share it, or do you just use it? You use it for yourself, and you don't share your politics with other people? I'm just curious. Write that down in the comments. My guess is that most of the people who subscribe to this channel subscribed to it. They did not hit the notification bell because they didn't want to get 7,497 notifications, and I understand that. But what do you do? Do you share it? Do you share things on the internet, or do you just watch them, view them? You may like them, click the like button, or on Instagram, the little heart, and move on, or do you share it? If you're on my Facebook page, you know that if I find something that I like, that that tweaks me and gets me going, I let other people see it. Hmm. Looking for coffee. We've mentioned a number of times here on the program that what we're seeing a lot in a lot of these businesses and a lot of this wokeness has to do with ESG, uh, environmental, social, and governance standards. ESG. Our friend Elon Musk. I don't know if he's not my friend. I don't know. I don't even know if we get along. But I do know that he has not looked at one of my tweets, so he doesn't know me from Adam's house cat. That's fine, I guess. Elon Musk blasted ESG standards on yesterday after highlighting how tobacco firms rank higher than Tesla. Earlier this month, S&P Global gave the electric vehicle manufacturer a score of just 37 points on a 100-point ESG scale compared to Philip Morris International, the maker of Marlboro cigarettes, which received 84 points. This despite tobacco reportedly being responsible for about 8 million deaths per year. I thought that tobacco was out, right? I thought cigarettes were out, right? Cigarettes were evil, right? No. How could this be? According to the Washington Free Beacon reporter Aaron Sabarium, it's because tobacco companies have gone woke. Companies, and this is what he writes, companies like Altria have gone out of their way to emphasize the diversity of their corporate boards and breadth of their social justice initiatives, from funding minority businesses to promoting transgender women in sports. But Tesla's, whose executives are overwhelmingly white dudes, have resisted that bandwagon, going so far as to fire its top LGBT diversity officer last year. The S in ESG typically includes diversity programs. Philip Morris International, which in 2021 advertised a partnership with African data scientists, got a social score of 84 from S&P Global. Tesla got a measly 20. The contrast highlights the hazards of movement that lumps pressing health and environmental issues with ideological fads. Early ESG efforts were laser focused on the sin stocks, companies whose core business was deemed immoral, including tobacco. But ESG investing has ballooned. So has the number of variables used in ESG ratings, which now encompasses everything from labor practices and carbon pledges to diversity training and human rights. That has increased countless opportunities to game the system, experts say. And let's even the most sordid companies score points and investors by towing the progressive line. So companies, Chick-fil-A, that didn't have a diversity officer hires one and tells everybody about it. Their ESG score goes up. Now, they may or may not let that person do a damn thing. They may not change their business model at all, but they hired a diversity officer. They've got an LGBTQIE LMNOP person on their board. That person has one vote. That person is outnumbered and will never be an influence, but their ESG score goes up. So despite Tesla's progressive efforts to move the auto industry towards a more sustainable future, the company has not properly embraced the leftist ideology and is being punished for it. Commenting on Sabarium's report, Musk says this is why ESG is a devil. Now think about this, folks. Think again, we are thinking people. We've been told for a number of years by, climate experts like teenager Greta Thunberg that we are 12 years away from the extinction. I was just scrolling through Twitter a little bit ago and saw that apparently, let's see here, make sure this is going good. Yeah, it is. It's fine. that apparently there were some people in France who are putting paint on, they were destroying paintings because we we are at the end of time because of fossil fuels. And this company, Tesla, and with all the problems that Tesla has, and all the problems that I think those big, large lithium batteries bring to the stage, has been, EVs have been one of the things that the left has been pushing, shoving. Governments have been giving subsidies to people who, to these companies, including Tesla. People have been getting tax breaks for buying these cars. They're being subsidized. And this dude is I think, as far out from the crowd of people making AVs. He's like, everybody else is here. He's like way up there, right? And he's getting hammered because his board of directors is basically a bunch of white dudes. So that's why. So none of this is honest. None of it is honest. Not a bit of it. From a thinking person's perspective, none of it is honest. Which is why we can't argue with these folks. We cannot. Obama said it, and unfortunately, he's right. We are in a post-fact world at this point. We could sit there with our facts and figures. You remember he said this? They're going to come at you with these facts and figures. He's going to come at you with this truth, and you're just going to ignore it. 1984 stuff going on here, folks. If you haven't read it, you need to. If you haven't read Brave New World, you need to. If you haven't read, or at least have your own copy of Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, you need to. You need to. Oh, if you haven't read Animal Farm, you need to. Alrighty. In any case, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.